we've got another swag that we're going to do here. To remind folks, the swag is the initial first pass, high level, quick and dirty overview of any project that we are made aware of or that we believe is at least worth the discussion. And so that's what swag's intent is. It's a high level. It's not designed to give the innards of anything at all. All it does is take a quick pass look at it, see what the heck's going on with the thing, and then provide a high-level thought analysis. Now, the token in question, it's a good bet that I'm not going to be doing any sort of coverage on this token. And the reason, at least not initially, because of what I see around it. Usually what happens is if a token gets unreasonable amounts of hype, I'm less confident to do coverage because of the pump and dump risk, especially if I see that they don't have anything to stop it from happening. Because what I don't want to do is trigger you to FOMO into it. So this is a swag. It is an initial coverage. It is not designed to do anything other than the high pass of what I saw on it. Phantom Project has arguably right now, it's interesting. There was a point in time when Terrarium dominated the waves in terms of social media. It dominated the waves. And then that tapered off after their fiasco with Binance.us, and I'm not going to bore you with those details, but that tapered off. And then now, the one that's getting the most chatter, even though it doesn't have a significant amount of followers yet, is this Phantom Project. PhantomProject.io. If you want to take a look at it, I encourage you to do so for yourself. I was trying to wrap my head around, what does this do? That was the number one thing on my mind. What does this do? When I read their site, I immediately had red flags, the klaxon as I describe it, weed, 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 because everything that they're describing is around social media. Everybody is a stakeholder. The reason that gives me red flags is because if we're going to describe, and this is written on their site, so it's not like I'm making this up. If we're going to describe, quote, everyone as a stakeholder, now you are contradicting other information that you've got in what you've written up, because I went to the white paper. As you heard me, I always go to the white paper, and I want to see the white paper is well written. The white paper, it's not actually even a white paper. So if I go back to my rubric, it doesn't meet the standard definition of anything I want in a white paper. It's like somebody took a first pass stab at what they think a white paper should be and didn't know what they were doing, so they basically quit. Quote, Phantom is building a decentralized social media platform focusing on crypto-centric content, digital identity, and uncensored digital socializing. First of all, the statement sounds good. I would argue that it's not going to work. And the reason I say that is because everybody is talking about creating the next Twitter or an alternate to Twitter. And there have been tons of projects that have struggled to do this, like Parler. And they've even implemented the ability to claim crypto as part of it. And then there are ones that say we're going to create a social media on the blockchain and all this. And none of them have succeeded. None of them have thrived, and they're all gone. And ultimately, we're right back to where we started. And I think the timing of this is unfortunate, because if Elon can do what he's going to do, I think his approach would be better, which is to take an existing brand that's already established and known and has potential and fix the fundamental flaws, as opposed to trying to create a thing. We learned this with Trump's Truth Social, which failed because it banked off of popularity of Trump instead of actually fixing the problem. Nobody wants a new something. Nobody wants to create a new something. What we want is to fix what's broken of the existing. So I decided to read a little bit deeper. Now, first of all, performance is an issue with this white paper, because quote unquote white paper, because they didn't optimize the image for PDF. And so loading is kind of an issue on possibly lesser devices, but it doesn't tell you anything. It just gives everything is about legal disclaimers and representations. Like, it reads like a contract. And that's fine, but that's not a white paper. I personally know. But then there was a line that said, okay, I'm not going to invest in this, and I'm not going to recommend anybody does. Quote, and go back to what I said, everybody is a stakeholder. Quote, this is from the white paper. The Phantom Project does not have the legal qualification of a security, since it does not give any rights to dividends or interests. The sale of Phantom tokens is final and non-refundable. Okay. Two things. If, quote, everyone is a stakeholder is entitled to a stake. A stake can only be a stake of some sort of value, because if it's not valuable, it's not a stake. If the person has a stake of some portion, it contradicts what you just said here. Second, to say that the sale of tokens is final, that's not cryptocurrency, and it's certainly not DeCent, because everybody should be able to sell your token, unless what you're saying is that you're not even going to allow trading of it. If that's true, that should be somewhere on your site. This is not to be traded. The problem is Phantom Project is doing a pre-sale. The fact that you're doing a pre-sale, if you're saying that, okay, you're going to do this pre-sale, you're going to give us money, and you're never going to get it back, and you're never going to be able to sell it, I would never recommend your project to anybody, because you've already set the precedent that, no, we'll take your money, but you're not going to be able to sell it. We're going to block you from selling. That's how that line reads. And I would never recommend it if that's what you meant. I'm pretty sure it's not what they meant. But that's what I'm saying, that whoever wrote this didn't really know what they were doing, because they're trying to, I believe what they're trying to say is that when you purchase tokens, the value of the tokens as of the point that you purchased them is, we can't control it. Like, it's whatever it is. And if the value goes down, if you were to sell, we're not giving you any guarantee of a value persistence. That's what I think they meant to say. But whoever wrote this didn't know what they were doing. And again, as I've always said, if anybody wants to actually engage with me, come on the show, talk with me. I would love to help the projects understand these simple delineations of terminology where you're introducing risk with two sentences, because it's called general information in the white paper, is extremely high risk to me, because it contradicts the way that crypto should work. If what you're saying is the truth, and I don't believe it. Now, this one is at, last I saw, 97% of their goal on the pre-sale. It reminds you of Crypto Vault, which was also hyped at a point, and it got unreasonable amounts of buy-in, and then it dumped immediately. Because their white paper isn't a real white paper, I can't see any sort of, anti-whale or whale management or anything else. I looked at the tokenomics. The tokenomics didn't tell me anything outside of any other project. It didn't tell me anything about what they're going to do to avoid a pump and dump situation other than a sell tax. The sell tax doesn't stop whales. The whale, if they're a whale, they're going to sell regardless. My summary thoughts here, I understand what they say they're trying to do. My issue number one is I think they're going to have some problems in trying to make what they're talking a reality. It feels like a lofty vision that's solving the wrong problem. I understand why they're doing it. I think it's the wrong answer in my opinion. And what they call a white paper is not a white paper. And the lines they have in their white paper are extremely high risk concerning red flag klaxon to me. And I would never recommend anybody buy in the way that white paper is written. Once again, if they'd like to talk it out with me, I'd love to, because I'd love to help any project that's serious about succeeding. I'm just saying that as presented, I'm not sold, and I would be highly skeptical that this succeeds. They might be good people, right? They might be good people that have all the best intentions. But the thing is, we know about the road to hell, and sometimes people need to be told the hard truth about how things are perceived. The way that quote-unquote white paper reads is automatic red flag to me, and I would not recommend it to anybody as I see it. That's my swag on phantomproject.io. Feel free to take a look at it. I just gave you the website address, and I did it at the end to force you to listen to the totality of the audio. And I'm not telling you whether to do it or not. I'm saying that as I see it, I personally would not recommend somebody buy into it. I certainly am not going to, because it, number one, feels too lofty. Number two, what they call a white paper isn't a white paper. Number three, the lines they put in the white paper are extremely concerning and problematic. And the thing is, it's the same thing as Terrarium. They put lines in their first swag of the white paper that were just as problematic. And I don't know where this is coming from, where they're getting too aggressive with the words in the white paper, not understanding that some of this stuff just turns off serious investors. If you're just there to gamble it, you probably don't care, and that's cool. I'm talking about the people that are serious, that really want projects that are going to be around the long term. My theory, when this launches, and I think they're expecting to launch here soon, 30th of April. My theory, it follows the pump and dump. It's going to jump and go crazy because of the pre-sale. They're going to immediately dump off, and then it's going to tank for the next year or so and likely never be seen again like Crypto Vault. unfortunately, unless they make some major changes to what they're doing and constrain the loftiness of the vision. That's my thoughts on that.